It's really amazing, when you stumble across these little historical tidbits that just catch you completely off guard. Like,
Yeah.
did you know that back in the 1920s, there was this small sawmill town in Arkansas, of all places, that had an X-ray machine? And get this, it was more advanced than what a lot of bigger cities had at the time. Just imagine that. A small town seemingly in the middle of nowhere, right on the cutting edge of medical technology. It's those kinds of stories that really spark my curiosity, and it's exactly what we're going to be digging into today.
And what makes this even more intriguing is that this one detail, this X-ray machine, actually opens up this whole fascinating story. And it's a story that you, our listener, have brought to us with this awesome collection of sources you've shared. So we're going to take a deep dive into the history of Crossett, Arkansas. And of course, we can't talk about Crossett without talking about the man behind it all, a visionary leader named Cap Gates.
You got it. And we're talking about a treasure trove of information here, folks. Personal accounts of Cap Gates' life, the businesses he built, stories about what daily life was like in those early days of Crossett. We've got excerpts about his efforts to get that X-ray machine we mentioned, stories from Cap Gates' tent city and Wilderness Lady that give us a glimpse into those early days, the challenges, the community that grew there. And we even have the founding fathers of the Crossett Experimental Forest, which delves into the origins of sustainable forestry practices. So our mission today is to put all these pieces together, like a historical jigsaw puzzle, to understand how this town went from wilderness to a lumber powerhouse and then, surprisingly, became a pioneer in sustainable forestry and community building. It's a story of resilience, innovation, and the impact that one person's vision can have. And speaking of vision, let's start with the man himself, Cap Gates. He was clearly more than just a lumberman, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you look at his background, which is what you've done, our listener, you see these pivotal moments that really shaped him, that shaped his character, and ultimately his vision for Crossett. He was born in Big Rod, Iowa back in 1866, and early on, his life took a pretty dramatic turn. He had this mining accident in Colorado, left him with sight in only one eye, but, he didn't let that define him. He didn't let that stop him. He took that energy and forged a new path, eventually ending up in Arkansas, right in the heart of the booming lumber industry.
And it seems like that move to Arkansas really ignited something in him. Because when you think about the typical sawmill town of that era, they were often, well, rough around the edges, temporary. But Gates, he had something different in mind for Crossett. He wasn't just focused on cutting down trees. He wanted to create a refined community, a place where families would want to settle down, where people were treated with respect. And you see this vision reflected in his plans for the Rose Inn.
Exactly right. The Rose Inn, it wasn't just some ordinary hotel. It was a statement, a symbol of his aspirations for Crossett. Think about it. Other lumber settlements, they had pretty basic, often rough lodging. But the Rose Inn, it was designed to be grand, elegant. They